buddy David Pakman from the David Pakman Show called out the hypocrisy and ignorance of Bill O'Reilly on international politics. Let's watch.
Bill O'Reilly, who is very proud of his Irish roots, has threatened to move to Ireland if Democratic Socialist Bernie Sanders is elected president of the United States. He doesn't want anything to do with democratic socialism. Here's what Bill actually said. If Bernie Sanders gets elected president, I'm fleeing. I'm going to Ireland, and they already know it. I shouldn't say it publicly because that will get Sanders more votes, but I'm not going to pay 90% of my income to that guy. I'm sorry, I'm not doing it. Bill O'Reilly clearly has no idea what Ireland is like today, and if he's trying to avoid democratic socialism in the United States, Ireland is not the place that he should be going. Number one, the top marginal tax rate currently in Ireland is higher than here in the United States. Number two, even if Bill O'Reilly moved to Ireland, current rules wouldn't allow him to avoid U.S. taxes anyway. You still have to pay American taxes, even if you, renounce your citizenship. You arguably still owe some taxes to the United States, although some people would say that they just wouldn't pay them. But the idea that he's going to avoid any U.S. taxes by going to Ireland is not by any means etched in stone. Gun control. Ireland is way tougher on gun control than the United States. And Bill O'Reilly has talked many times about his love for the First Amendment and his right to protect himself. It is going to be pretty tough to get guns in Ireland because they are highly restricted. Many cops don't even carry firearms in Ireland. And then here's the really big one, Lewis. Socialized medicine. Ireland has socialized medicine. This is the type of thing Bernie Sanders wants. Bill O'Reilly seems to know very little about Ireland.
Oh, that's so sad. It's so sad because it just shows you in such a clear way that he doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about, man. Bill O'Reilly is clueless. And you see this oftentimes with different characters on the right who will say, hey, if this Democrat wins this election or whatever, well, you know, I'm going to leave the country. But anywhere you would want to go is more socialist than the United States. Because, let's be honest, they only want to go to other white places, and the other white places are more socialist. So they might say, yeah, I'm going to go to Canada. Okay, way more socialist than the U.S. Way more socialist. Yeah, all right, well, I'm out there, and I'm going to go Britain. Yet again, way more socialist. They have universal health care. They have a higher marginal tax rate. Then they might say Australia, same thing. You go down the list. And we are the most capitalistic of the mixed market economies. So he doesn't know what he's talking about. And then, furthermore, the 90% number is just, it's not true. Now, David explained this in a pretty clear way as well in a different part of the video. But 90%, he said repeatedly in multiple interviews, like, no, I'm not in favor of that. I don't know where that came from. And also, he released a specific tax plan just this week, I think. And the top rate for those who make, it was either over $2 million or $5 million. It was 52%. And again, that's a marginal rate, not a regular rate. So a marginal rate is everything you make over a certain number is taxed at that rate. So when they say, hey, the top rate for what you make over 5 million is 52%, well, then that means that, let's say you make 6 million, your first 5 million is taxed at the lower rate, and then everything above 5 million, so that last $1 million is taxed at 52%. And then usually, let's be clear, that doesn't even include loopholes and deductions and stuff like that. So the effective rate will probably be lower, and it would be something like 40%, which is what it was in the U.S. when our top marginal rate under Eisenhower was 94%. So he's not, this idea that he's some sort of loony, crazy person, this communist, this uber socialist, it's just not the case. As I said time and time again, talk to somebody from Sweden, talk to somebody from Denmark, talk to somebody from Scandinavia. They'll be like, no, the dude is a centrist, man. The dude is very, very centrist. And for the record here, I actually agree with Bernie in that respect. I'm an international centrist or a Scandinavian centrist. It's just that in the context of the U.S., he appears to be uber far left. But actually, to be fair to O'Reilly here, he's not the most unreasonable dude on guns. I mean, I'm sure that he's to the right of most lefties, but he has said that there should be, I don't know if it was a gun registry or just universal background checks, but his rhetoric on that is more reasonable. But either way, I mean, David's 100% right in calling out his ignorance here, because the reality is he talks about politics day in and day out. The number one show on TV, news show on TV, and he just doesn't know what he's talking about. He's clueless. He has no clue that all these other places that he would consider fleeing to, Ireland being on the top of the list, that they are way more socialist than the United States of America.